As the summer comes to an end and the days start to get darker, that can only mean one thing: spooky season is on its way. We are already a couple of days into September, and I've seen so many people on social media already posting them putting up their Halloween decorations, so I thought it would be a great idea to make a list of some of my favorite Halloween movies to get you in the Halloween spirit as well. I have 10 movies lined up for you guys, but I chose some of the more lesser-known movies for this, so don't get mad at me if your favorite classic doesn't have an appearance in this video. With that said, let's get straight into the list, which, by the way, is in no particular order. The House's October Built is a found footage movie from 2014 about a group of 5 friends looking for the ultimate haunted house attraction. We see them travel all around America in hope for finding an experience the group will never forget. I can assure you, they will definitely find that. As the group tours around in their camper van, they start to get followed by strangers who leave behind a handful of messages, luring them to what seems to be the scariest haunted house experience in the States. A couple of the friends think it's all going too far and want to stay away until they come too close and some go missing. This movie is very entertaining in my opinion, as I'm also a big fan of found footage movies, if they're done right at least. This one keeps you hooked from beginning to end, and the last couple of minutes of the movie will definitely make sure you'll be on the edge of your seat and make you think twice the next time you go to a haunted house.
Really didn't say anything. Something happened to your car?
This next movie I had never heard of before, until I found it on eBay for cheap, so I thought, why the heck not? The reviews on this movie are very mixed, but I had a really good time watching this, as it reminded me a lot of the horror movies from the 80s. The Terror of Hallows Eve is about a teenage boy who gets bullied all the time. One day, close to Halloween, he's had enough of all the torture and pain and decides to wish for revenge.
I wish I could scare them all to death.
Little does he know that he unleashes a demon by the name of the Terror of Halloween. The monster is also known as the Trickster, and is one of the reasons I got really uncomfortable watching this movie. In the beginning, he already looks unsettling, but still quite sweet and harmless. Closer to the end of the movie, all hell breaks loose and the Trickster will make sure you won't forget his name anytime soon. Next up on the list might be my favorite Halloween movie of all time, Trick or Treat, from 2007. As one of many Halloween anthologies on this list, this one just takes the cake for me. The way all of the stories are intertwined and connected to each other is just so well done. All 5 of the short stories are done so well, and the overall Halloween experience is done so perfectly. They aren't holding back on the gore either. Every story is done with some great practical effects, especially the werewolf one in my opinion. What makes this movie stand out as well is the antagonist, Sam, who shows up multiple times throughout the movie to have his own few minutes of fame in the last story, showing him face off against an old man who despises Halloween. If you love Halloween and haven't seen this movie yet, make sure to put it on the top of your list for this season.
You'll bother the neighbors.
Okay.
As I told in the beginning of the video, I will only include some of the lesser-known Halloween movies. So instead of picking 1978's Halloween, I'm picking Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. After 2 Halloween movies, including the iconic Michael Myers, Tommy Lee Wallace decided it was time for a change in the series. He completely got rid of Michael and brought us this little gem. There was a lot of controversy because some people were expecting another Michael Myers movie. That's also the reason this movie didn't have as big of an audience as it, in my opinion, deserved. Halloween 3 is about 3 Halloween masks that every kid in America seems to want. After a murder spree connected to the masks, an investigation is started to find out what the hell is going on. It turns out they are dealing with witchcraft, and whoever wears one of the masks will be brainwashed and eventually meet their demise. Even though this movie is not as good and iconic as the first Halloween, I think it's a nice change, but they shouldn't have put in under the Halloween name. Either way, it's still a great movie that will get you in the mood for the spooky holidays. Next up is Murder Party. On Halloween Eve in Brooklyn, an average Joe loser named Chris finds an invitation to a costume party. Arriving at the party, Chris discovers he's fallen prey to the lethal trap set by deranged artists. As the night wears on, rivalries within the group flare up. A body count accrues, and Chris must take advantage of the ensuing chaos if he's to survive the night. The first hour or so of this movie might be a little slow, but trust me, the last 30 are complete and utter chaos. The practical effects are also surprisingly good, considering this movie had little to no budget. I'd definitely say this is a fresh little B horror movie gem. List. This found footage horror movie follows a documentary crew who travel to an abandoned haunted house location. 5 years before they got there, a massive tragedy happened there, killing 15 tourgoers and staff on the opening night of a haunted house tour. The crew finds all kinds of testimonies, photographs, and video footage of the strange occurrences that happened to the haunted house staff. Eventually, the documentary crew talks to the sole survivor of the tragedy, who hands the crew personal raw footage that will chill you to the bone. This movie starts building this weird tension from the beginning and won't let go until the end credits roll. The found footage element is very well done and enhances the tension even more. I dare you to watch this movie all by yourself, with all the lights out if you are brave enough. You can even find this movie on YouTube. I left a link to it in the description. Our second Halloween anthology on this list is Tales of Halloween. This movie is said to be the best anthology in the genre since Trick or Treat. I don't know if I can agree it's the best after that, but it sure is one of the best. The movie shows us 10 short stories, all unique in their own way, taking place in an American suburb. I love the diversity in all of the short stories, and also that they are all no longer than 10 minutes. If I had to pick my favorite story out of all of the 10, I'd go for the first one, called Sweet Tooth. I really enjoyed the concept of an urban legend combined with Halloween candy, combined with some gruesome scenes and impressive gore. Be sure to let me know in the comments what your favorite story of this anthology was. Another haunted house attraction movie, Haunt is about a group of friends that stumble upon a haunted house claiming to be extreme. Things start off suspicious when they all have to hand in their phones before entering the house. They all make their way through the maze inside as they encounter a series of traps. Quickly, they discover this is no normal haunted experience, as these traps are actually hurting them. The group starts to panic and tries to find the exit, but that seems to be more difficult than planned, and they're dealing with something way more sinister than they could have ever imagined.
Please don't hurt me.
Next up is an absolute masterpiece by the amazing Tim Burton. The story of Sleepy Hollow is about a young police detective, Ichabod Crane, played by Johnny Depp, who is sent from New York City to a small town called Sleepy Hollow to investigate a series of murders. Approached by the town's council, Crane discovers that 3 of the murders were some of the most notable men in town. The council also says that the murders are the work of a deadly Hessian horseman whose head has been mysteriously chopped off. With the help from a young sidekick and the beautiful Katrina Van Tassel, Crane's investigation takes him further through the dark woods, where more murders have been occurring. What Crane does not realize is that the mysterious horseman is being controlled by someone in a sinister plot to kill the most suitable men in the village. This is one of the most beautiful movies I have seen in my life. The eerie atmosphere it creates is almost depressing, yet charming. Combine this with a bone-chilling ghost story, and you've got a movie you'll want to watch over and over. I prefer watching Sleepy Hollow on VHS to really give it that nostalgic feel. It's just something about that old appearance that really works so well. Surprise! We have another anthology on our list. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is one of the more recent movies we're talking about, but it quickly earned a spot on the list. Every time I watch this movie, I get chills, as we see a small town covered in leaves and Halloween decorations, with The Season of the Witch playing in the background. Chills. Every time. It's 1968 in America. Change is blowing in the wind, but seemingly far removed from the unrest in the cities is the small town of Mill Valley, where for generations the shadow of the Bellows family has loomed large. It is in their mansion on the edge of town that Sarah, a young girl with horrible secrets, turned her tortured life into a series of scary stories, written in a book that has transcended time stories that have a way of becoming all too real for a group of teenagers who discover Sarah's terrifying tomb. I love how they made some characters and stories from the books come to life in the movies. Every story written in here is so well done, and the antagonists are very memorable. I remember the first time watching it and being terrified at the first glimpse of the jangly man. I would say this movie and 2007's Trick or Treat are my favorite Halloween anthologies. What are your favorites?
Are you shitting me?
And that's all the movies I have got for you today. Hopefully you found some new movies to watch during the spooky season, or found some ideas for a fun rewatch. Be sure to let me know in the comments below, and also please tell me what some of your own favorite Halloween movies are. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.